Episode 7 of Beauty in Black begins with Norman rocking up at the tow yard. The man at the booth points out a silver car came by, but he doesn't recognize Jules' face. Apparently only the police saw what happened and they have the footage too, at least according to this worker. Norman does, however, pay attention to the yellow Lamborghini in the picture. Meanwhile, Roy rocks up at the office high as a kite. Mallory is not happy and tells him to go home and sleep it off. Eventually Calvin shows and calms things down, while Jillian decides to be the one to take him home. However, there's a war brewing between Calvin and Jillian, with the latter promising to come down hard on him. Varney and Charles continue to butt heads and the former apologizes for their falling out. He professes his love and the pair get back on good terms again. Kimmy returns to the club and while she gets ready, so too does Angel. He gets some security, a guy called Salvo, to help him out in case things go sour with Horace. In the other room, Body continues to rile up Kimmy in the midst of all this. She apparently has a new girl arriving soon and she's only 16. Back at the club, Body keeps a close eye on Kimmy as she heads out to see Horace. She does speak to Angel beforehand, which is spotted by Body from across the club, as the pair eventually convene in the car. Horace hands over keys to his house and the address, giving them an easy way in. Back at the office, Calvin holds his own with Mallory and encourages her to keep up with their illicit affair. Mallory tries to shrug him off and play the tough girl facade, but Calvin sees right through it. Meanwhile, Jules speaks to Horace and points out that Mallory and Roy both came home with no damage to either car. He also sticks up for Charles too, leaving Norman at a crossroads. Angel and Kimmy show up at the address, which isn't the mansion but a little suburban detached house. While Angel and Horace head upstairs and have drinks, Kimmy is downstairs. Angel ends up messaging and downing his drink, which is super suspicious unto itself, while Rain rings Kimmy. It turns out she's still alive, but has been moved to a different hospital. Kimmy realizes this is what Horace has done and scrambles upstairs to warn Horace. Meanwhile, Charles's car is hit on the private road with a barrage of gunfire and bursts into flames, so Norman kills a bunch of people in broad daylight, and he walks away, and there's no police after him. There's absolutely nothing of this on the news and nothing is linked back to the company? Really? Meanwhile, the farcical plot to steal from Horace is brought to the foreground and the old man decides to put his entire livelihood on the line by handing over his keys to Kimmy and Angel, who tried to steal from him once before. And the catalyst? Kimmy believing the random mumblings of a woman next to Rain in the ward rather than, asking the nurses or trying to find out the truth. There are so many holes in this series and around the interpersonal relationships and affair drama, this one has fallen from being a guilty pleasure to being a farcical drama. What a shame.